DJ All Irix guy here, and I think that the follow-up review is often as important, well, actually probably a lot more important than the initial review. And I want to do a follow-up review of the Mavic Air after several weeks flying. And I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. You know, nothing is sugar-coated here. And a lot of people say, oh man, you're just a DJI fanboy. I love DJI drones, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to tell you how it is. So with that being said, let's hop right in. So after flying the Mavic Air for several weeks, what do I like? What do I dislike? Have I encountered problems? So the first problem, and this is the little back door on the back of the drone, you notice that I keep it half shut. And that's because to open this, when it was new, it was very hard. You know, even with a nub of a fingernail, it's very difficult. So I had to use like a key or a coin, and that wasn't, I felt that was stupid. They should have made this out of rubber. But what I can say, and now I've completely closed it, that after a few weeks of use, that loosened up. Now I can effortlessly open and close it. Even though it is a hard plastic, I can open and close it without a problem now. But again, DJI, if they wanted to have made this better, they could have made that out of a rubber, so that it would have been more easy for most people's fingers to open without a tool. Minor complaint there, but it's worth mentioning. Another thing, and I've got the Gimbal Protector in my backpack, but it's easy to forget to take the Gimbal Protector off of the drone, and you can't leave it on the Mavic Air. Heard a turkey or something. I'm out in the wilderness. But you can't leave the Gimbal Protector on because this camera moves around. It's not designed to be left on. DJI should have made the Gimbal Protector a bright color. Maybe even integrated something so that if the Gimbal Protector is attached, that it prevents the power button from being depressed. And maybe it makes a beep or something saying, hey, you know, you got to remove your Gimbal Protector before you power on and fly. The same goes for the landing gear. See these landing gear right here? It's so easy to pop this out and forget to pop those down. Now, it doesn't seem like that would be that big of a deal, but in reality, that would make, if your camera was gimbaled, let's say straight down, when you landed, your camera could, if these landing gear weren't down like they should be, that camera could potentially make contact with the ground. So that's something that I feel should also be wired into the power on and off. You know, if these aren't down, that it wouldn't power on. Just the same with the, you know, with the Gimbal Protector. As far as everything else is concerned, battery life, that was something I was very, very curious about. And I think the quoted battery life, and you can check out my website, epicdroneshow.com. You can find a direct link to the Mavic Air, the different bundles of colors and accessories there, and read all the detailed specs. But I think the quoted specification was around 21 minutes per battery. Now obviously that was in optimal conditions, but I can say for my real world use case of the Mavic Air, and that's not using sport mode, I'm not a fan of sport mode. However, sport mode, check out my field test, it actually was quite energy efficient despite the high rate of speed. But my thing is going out and capturing 4K 30 video. So to fly this thing around at, you know, at various speeds, filming 4K 30, different wind conditions, different speeds, but mainly slow, because, you know, I'm trying to get that slow and cinematic footage. When I'm doing that with the Mavic Air, it has been just a spectacular performer. In real world conditions, I've noticed around 16 minutes. I can consistently get 16 minutes of battery life, but typically +2 or +3 minutes. So real world for me is 17.8, around 19 minutes. So around 2 minutes less than what DJI had quoted, I think was 21. So the battery life is great. And if you consider a typical YouTube video is probably around 5 minutes, a solid 16 minutes of battery life is great, because one video, that's about 5 minutes, you mess up, you film it again, that puts you around 10 minutes, and then you've got about 6 to 9 minutes to spare. So one battery with this is phenomenal, especially when you look at the size of the battery. I mean, look how small that is, how small and lightweight. Super easy to carry multiple batteries. So the battery life for me is not a concern. I know a lot of people have there's something big back there. Hope it's not a bear. We got to finish this review though. So the battery issue is not of concern. It's a non-issue for me. Would it be better to have better battery life? Yeah, but for this form factor, if to get a few minutes of additional battery life was a bigger battery and more weight, it may not be worth it. Again, for me, small travel size and small travel weight is of utmost importance. So Mavic Air really wins from that perspective. This does not have OcuSync, and that's something that's made a lot of people hold off. They're like, man, I'm gonna wait for Mavic Pro 2 because I bet it'll have OcuSync. And there's a good possibility that Mavic Pro 2 will probably have OcuSync. But this is Wi-Fi, but it's not just Wi-Fi, it's enhanced Wi-Fi. And that was my biggest point of concern before I bought my Mavic Air, is that this thing doesn't have OcuSync, it's just Wi-Fi. But actually when they say enhanced, something must have been enhanced, because I've flown this throughout. I've flown this throughout the visual line of sight range, and I've never lost FPV, first person view, and I've never lost control. So I can say confidently that whether this is using Wi-Fi, OcuSync, or insert whatever technology here, it does what I need it to do. I can fly throughout the visual line of sight, and I don't have any issues. So it works great. Now, would I rather have OcuSync? Sure, because OcuSync, in my opinion, is a superior technology. But since this hasn't failed me yet, it's great. Now, I don't fly in congested areas just to be safe. I fly where there's hardly anybody except myself around. So I haven't flown in a situation where I would encounter potential interference with Wi-Fi. So, you know, that could be a deal breaker for some people, but for me it's not. I love the Mavic Air. Would I buy the Mavic Air again? Without a doubt. Will I buy the Mavic Pro 2? I probably will, just because I love drones, and I'm a different kind of animal here. I like to tinker with all the latest technologies and see what they do well, what they do poorly. So from that perspective, I'll probably get the Mavic Pro 2. But I'm super happy with the Mavic Air, and I would definitely buy again without hesitation. And I really like the red color. I'm kind of disappointed that the belly's not red. So the red color doesn't really add any sort of improvements from a visual line of sight perspective, even though you can see a little bit of red strip on the side and the side of the landing gear. So you can see that more easily when you're flying, but I wish the entire belly was red. That would have been an improvement. That's why I got red, so I can more easily see it while it's flying. So yeah, really good drone. Again, if you're on the fence, I mean, do what you want to do. I'm not trying to steer you one direction or the other, but I will say that the Mavic Air is now my favorite drone. It's replaced the Phantom 4. I never got into the Phantom 4 Pro that much because the Phantom 4 Pro, like the Mavic Pro, required tap to focus, and it was a huge nuisance for me. I don't like tap to focus. I just want to take it airborne, get consistently excellent 4K footage. And both the Phantom 4 and the Mavic Air have enabled me to do that. But with the Mavic Air, I get a lot more portability, you know, smaller travel size, smaller travel weight. So now the Mavic Air is my go-to drone. Will that change when Mavic Pro 2 comes out? I don't know. I can't predict the future. But if you're looking for the Mavic Air, any of the colors, any of the bundles, check out epicdroneshow.com. Go there, you can find them all. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. It's youtube.com/iRickSky. And stay tuned for a lot more drone videos soon. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, iRickSky here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.